Welcome to Season 2 of The Shift, Stories of Resistance and Resilience, a multi-platform conversation series produced and hosted by me, Mark Travis Rivera, the professional storyteller. I believe that stories have the power to change the world. Through honest conversations and powerful storytelling, we explore how people challenge systems, shift narratives, and transform culture, creating a more inclusive, just, and liberated world in our lives and in our work. Here on this podcast, you'll hear from changemakers, truth tellers, and community builders who are using their voices and their stories to move us forward. So if you believe in the power of storytelling to spark change, you're in the right place. Listen closely, take notes, recognize our shared humanity. This is The Shift. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of The Shift, Stories of Resistance and Resilience. Season 2 is off to a bang. If you haven't checked out the episodes that have already come out, please do so. The Season 2 premiere with Darnell Lamont Walker resonated so deeply with so many different people about living and dying with dignity. And of course, we had Sydney Below, and of course, the amazing comedian storyteller Ida Rodriguez. And to continue this amazing season of roster of amazing guests, today's guest is someone I have admired online for a while. I still can't believe she even speaks to me and knows that I exist because she's such a badass. And when I tell you the outfit, I'm always about my outfits and being fashionable for the show and life in general. But today's look, I put extra care into it because I knew I was meeting with a fashion badass, and I just had to make sure I matched that energy. Today's guest is the one, the only, Heidi Clements, who is 65 years old, who wants to change the way this country views women over 50. As a former TV writer turned social media influencer, Heidi uses fashion and storytelling to help reframe how people view aging. Heidi has worked both in magazine and entertainment news, running shows like Entertainment Tonight, before moving into scripted television at 51. After producing 100 episodes of the Freeform's Baby Daddy, Heidi decided to shift her focus as a writer and now writes only about women over 50. Heidi is now focusing on turning her business, social media into a business and spreading the word about pro-aging, anti-alcohol, and general ideas about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness, and crushing, more importantly, crushing the patriarchy. And she is my guest today on The Shift. Welcome, Heidi.
Hi, how are you?
I am so delighted to meet you and so thankful that you said yes to my invite. Thank you so much. I never take for granted someone's time because that's the one currency we can't get back. So thank
I
you so much.
appreciate being asked, so thank you.
Yes. Okay. So first we have to go to before we jump into the questions. Give us an overview of your look. What's the accessories today? What's the look giving?
This was a brooch mesh tie made by my friend Nina, paste by Nina Q. And I don't know, it's a little cooler today than it's been. So I have a thrifted vest on from my friend at Make Good.
Yes.
And, I don't know, just business casual, business
Yes, I love it.
sassy. I don't know what it is. I honestly don't think very much about what I'm putting on. I just sort of go to the closet and grab things and put them on. I don't change. I don't alter it. I don't say, this would be, I just put it on and go.
Yeah, I love that. So first and foremost, I will tell you this before we start recording. There's very few people on Instagram who, quote unquote, are influencers who just deeply move me on some serious topics while also slaying social like fashion looks. And it's also very rare that we see women of a certain age also be fashionable and badass and tackling very deep and intimate and vulnerable issues that you cover. And I know many storytellers, but you are one of my favorite storytellers in the way in which it just comes off so effortless. And I know that it takes a lot of work to do what we do, but it just comes off so effortless. And your level of vulnerability, your willingness to share so openly, I know for a fact has impacted my own life as I start to examine my relationship with alcohol and my relationship with myself and how I view this body of mine that was crippled at birth and ever changing as I age and gain weight and weight fluctuates. And although I'm not your target demo, I see your videos and I'm reminded to be gentler with myself and to be kinder to my body. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you for saying that. I always say I'm talking to myself first. It just so happens that there are other people out there that feel the same way I feel. And I think the most interesting thing is that my audience is young. It's not women my age. Um,
Wow.
Only maybe 10% of my audience are women over 50. The rest are 40 and under.
That is so interesting. And I know I'm a queer man, but are there also
Are
men in
you?
queer? Yes, I'm a queer. You caught me off that one. That was funny. Yes, I'm hella gay, hella queer.
Hella gay. We're all
Oh,
hella gay.
yeah, we're all hella gay. Do men reach out to you about your videos at all?
Yeah, but in the worst way possible.
Oh no, even the gay ones or just the straight ones?
No, the gay ones and a few straight ones, but not a very large percentage of my audience is male. But there are some. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I think if there were more, it would be great because I think maybe they would understand how we think as women, and some of us in particular, how we think as women, which is, we don't need you,
yeah,
and you need to find a way to work into our lives more than we need to work to fit into your lives. I think there's a shift happening there. I think, they talk about this male loneliness epidemic, blah, blah, blah. But
yeah, for sure. So who are you outside of the professional highlights I read in your bio?
I mean, I honestly think like who I am is pretty apparent in my posts every day. There isn't anything that I don't talk about, or especially if you watch my stories also, because I'm even more like day to day in my stories. But, I'm just a 65-year-old woman living in a very quiet beachside community and really just looking to find the joy in life at a time when there isn't a lot of joy in this life, in this country. And so I just try really hard to be present and to be there for people who matter to me and to be empathetic when I can. And I'm an avid shopaholic. I love things. I could go shopping at a gas station and find things. I love animals. I am deeply affected by the um, amount of dogs we have in rescue in this country, and I wish people would adopt and not shop. And I love animals, all animals, and that's kind of I don't know. I'm just a regular gal.
Yeah. And as you know, this podcast, the subtitle is Stories of Resistance and Resilience. And so we ask this question to every guest, which is, what is your personal concept of resistance and resilience?
I mean, for me, resisting. I resist aging with plastic surgery and any other sort of accoutrements. I resist the idea that young is better, that looking younger is better. I resist the idea that aging is bad. I think the words anti aging are a hate crime and they should not be allowed on any products that we have. How could you be against aging? You'd be dead if you weren't aging. And I think that my resilience is putting that face out there every day, and my resistance is putting my face out there every day and telling people that they need to love their wrinkles. And the more people that are my age that resist what is fed to them as a beauty standard, the better we'll all be, because the more we focus on what we look like, I don't think women are ever going to win. They're not going to put us in office if all we talk about is the fucking facelift that we had that makes us look 10 years younger. Like, who
Yeah.
gives a fuck? Younger is not better. It's just
Yeah.
younger. And by the way, you're not fooling anybody. You might look good on camera, but in person, you look crazy. That's
Yeah.
my opinion. Do whatever you want. I always say, look, you wanna do what you want to do to your skin plastic surgery wise, do it. Just know why you're doing it. Know that you're doing it for you and not for the male gaze. Know that you're doing it for you and not because you want to feel more youthful. Like,
Right.
just live your life.
Yeah. And for me, I think that's such an important distinction we make, right? Because part of me as a feminist, part of what I believe feminism at its core is about is the idea that we have agency, right? That we have agency, the free will, and that we don't have to prescribe to social norms around gender performance, gender identity, gender roles, but that we shall have equal rights and access to opportunity. And so, if you want to beautify or change things to make yourself feel better, and you're generally doing it for yourself, then you have that free will. What I don't like is that we live in a society that is constantly bombarding us with the standard of beauty that so many women and even men develop eating disorders and struggle with their self worth because so much of what we're seeing as the standard is not attainable for to most people, and it's
Yeah.
also not realistic, right? Like, what's the alternative to aging? Dying, like to be dead, right? And I'm even telling this to myself now. I'm entering my mid 30s, and I told myself like, should I start Botox as like preventative? And I was like, fuck that. Like, one, that costs too much money, and two, authenticity is a core value for me. And as this face changes and the double chin comes and goes and the wrinkles start to develop more, I want to fucking embrace that version of me too.
Yeah. I mean, I think radical self love is the only thing that's going to save us all in the end. Because,
Yeah.
listen, I'm body dysmorphic and I've been on, the weight thing forever. And I have a very different opinion about weight when it comes to menopausal women because, you weigh something your whole life and then all of a sudden menopause hits and you get this extra weight that nobody asked for. And if you want to lose that, knock yourself out. Go do some GLPs, do them for until you lose that 10 pounds or whatever you want. Go for it. I'm not going to knock anybody, any of that. Like, the skinny shaming, the fat shaming, all the shaming of women, we are just constantly picked apart for what we look like. And I'm so much more than how I look. I love makeup. To me, it's like painting my face. It's like art supplies. I love doing it. I also love not wearing it. I don't do any of it because I care what somebody thinks about me. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me or what I look like. I'm the only judge. And I think really that is the only way to get through life, is to be the only person that you should be your only jury and judge. You should be the only person that is handing out the love to you, because you must embrace all aspects of yourself throughout your life, so that when you get to be 50 or 60 and you have wrinkles, you'd be like, cool, that's just another aspect of how I look. I mean, listen, my neck aged long before my face did, and I was not happy about it for 10 years. And it's when I realized how different the age 50 to 60 is for women. And I focus very heavily on that because I think when you hit menopause and a lot of things change, including how you even see yourself, like your vision of how you see yourself changes. And I want to prepare young women for that, to know, like, it's your brain needs estrogen. And sometimes the way you look at yourself isn't how you look, but you need to just accept how you look. And if we lived in a country where people said, oh my god, I can't wait until I get wrinkles, we would have a different society when people are older. It would be a beautiful thing, like, oh my god, look, I got my first wrinkle.
Yeah.
And we need to be more like that.
Yeah, and I think what's so interesting, and you saying around the hormones and all that, and estrogen. We're living at a time right now where trans women, trans men, trans people in general are under attack, and a lot of what's under attack is their access to medical intervention for their gender dysphoria or their gender identity transition. And HRT, better known as hormone replacement therapy, is not just something that trans people do, right? It is something that other people do that actually helps with menopause and helps people who are lacking certain hormones in order to regulate. And
Hmm.
I think that what I think a lot of people are not realizing, that this attack on the medical access front for trans people is also going to drastically impact women who are seeking HRT to help deal with menopause. And again, right, this idea that all roads lead back to the suppression of marginalized people, right? That the patriarchy and white supremacy culture is about keeping the marginalized marginal.
Yeah.
And not enough people are talking about that,
Yeah,
right?
I don't
It's the,
understand why anybody gives a shit what somebody wants to do to their bodies. Like, why do
yeah,
you care? Why do you
like,
care if somebody is trans? Like,
and you know, what's so interesting to me, and maybe this may be a cultural thing as a Latino. We and other cultures as well, not just Latinos, we really revere our elders. We really respect our matriarchs and our patriarchs and the aging, right? And there is a level of communal care that is innate in my culture that I find that in America we've really stuck onto this individualism, and we don't care about the elders, our elders. You know, I think we saw that play out clearly during the pandemic when elders were sent to, you know, nursing homes and left to die at mass by certain governors and other people in this country. And there's a total disregard for people who are aging and people who are not, quote unquote, the target demo. And for me, it's not just about ageism, but it's a disregard for the human life, which is interesting. But beyond, but just not just ageism itself. Yeah, that's a part of it. But there is, I think, what's happening is, unless it's about controlling someone, this country as it stands doesn't seem to care, right? Because if we cared, we would have more access to healthcare, universal healthcare. If we cared, we would address the homelessness issue. If we cared, we would deal with the mental health services that people desperately need. If we cared, we would stop mass shootings at schools, right? If we cared, we would provide universal healthcare and child care, you know, for people all over this country. Because it is this total disregard for the human life in general beyond just ageism. Yes, ageism is a part of it, but there's also a disregard, I think, just for human life, which is ironic to me because this current administration claims to be pro-life, the party of pro-life, right, and family values, and yet nothing they're doing right now is about being pro-life, in my opinion. What do you hope to shift in society through your work?
what do I hope to shift? I hope to shift the way that we look at women over 50.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
that's just it.
yeah,
I hope that we just let women age.
yeah.
That's it.
So, any upcoming projects or ways, or how can people connect with you in the work that you're
Please
doing?
listen to our podcast at Talk 50 to Me. It's
Yes,
available
and
wherever
we'll,
you get your podcasts. We also have an Instagram, so you can follow us there, and it's all linked there. And that's really the most important project I'm working on right now.
yeah. We'll be sure to add that to the show notes as well as when we add all the
Thank you. I
links to
appreciate that.
your podcast. And so Talk 50 to me. I love that. Such a great title.
Yeah,
Um,
we
yes.
really.
So,
It's very like narrow cast as far as what we talk about. We really just want to talk about what it's like to turn 50, uh, and my co-host is 10 years younger than me, so I'm sort of the futuristic. Yeah, yep, that happens. Yep, that's what happens. Um, so it's really just like three women having a great conversation with a different, two women and a guest every week, and it's really just like listening to your girlfriends talk about aging.
love that. So, y'all, that is all the time we have today. I want to thank Heidi for her time. Be sure to check out her Instagram and her TikTok and all the things. We'll be sure to add it to our show notes. And I hope you all enjoy this conversation. Be sure to share it with the women in your life and anyone else in your life who needs to get some wisdom and some real talk from Heidi. Heidi, thank you so much for being a possibility model. Thank you for what you represent. And more importantly, thank you for sharing your story so willingly and openly
Thank you.
to strangers,
Thank
all of
you.
us.
I
Yes,
appreciate
and be
it.
sure to check out her podcast. Be sure to check out her podcast. We'll be linking in the show notes. And just remember that we're not in this alone.
Nope.
That we're in it together.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Heidi. I
Thank
appreciate your
you.
time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Be well, everyone.